In this segment, we're going to talk about administration support, and that is in the lower left corner of the main menu. We click Administration Support, and when this opens up, there are several different functions here that support the using of the program. Some are used, some you may not use. Here you have access to an employee list. Okay, and you can track their information and things like that. They have a username, and you can also click view this here and set permissions for that person, and anything that you don't want them to have access to, just turn it off. Any questions, of course, you can always ask us specifically. You can view sales reps. These are people that might be selling memberships if you use that function. Training class list. This is if your employees or volunteers get training and you want to keep track of that. Not a very big used function. You can reset referral counts, but it will keep a history of all time referral counts. That's on the main menu, which we'll talk about later. Here's maintain business categories. That was discussed in program setup too, because here again, this is, you can just add a new category. Most people just use category. They do not use master category. And then again, these are green buttons are reports. This was discussed in program setup. Maintain business types. This is what we talked about, that you can assign a type to any contact, and so you can define what your contacts are, and you can get reports on those types. We ask that you not delete former member or prospect, because they are used by the program. We have maintain contact categories. This is if you use the communication function and you want to categorize what you're talking about. NCC codes are National Chamber of Commerce codes. SIC are standard industry codes. You can assign them to contacts as well. Form sizer is something in the program that, it sizes some of the main menus, the main menu, the finance menu, the report menu, kind of like fits it to your screen, but a lot of the other forms in the program are multiple records. You can refresh your finance history. Inventory locations. This is if you use inventory or an equipment manager. Inventory manager, you can add them here very simply and just start adding your inventory if you wanted that. Then you can search. Same with equipment. Just add your equipment, a PC, a desk, chairs, whatever you want to track. Software manuals list if you want to use that. Where are they? You can maintain projects if you want. And that's used typically with work orders, the task manager. Task manager is where you can enter a new task, and you can assign it to a project. And that is, if you want to use it with major events, it's there. Task types are what type of work orders: preventive maintenance, repair, projects. Paid commissions, that has to do with sales reps. Invoice messages is here. This is where you define your invoice messages. That was also discussed in program setup. Networking events list, that was defined in program setup. Merchandise credit returns, if people return something, if you're selling them, through sales, but then that means if you're selling something, you have to use the inventory function. You can import Excel spreadsheets, and this is, you set it up, and that would, if you want to use that's actually adding contacts to your database really fast. And you can import prospects. Here is all things related to major events. Event categories you can maintain, and participant categories, that's the people that come or the businesses. Status, regions, county. Then you have your web page scripts. We provide this in the program. And all your webmaster has to do, like if you want all these are directories except for the calendar. Here's the main directory. All your webmaster has to do is copy that, insert the HTML code on a member directory page, and voila, there's your directory. Oh, that's the banner, excuse me. Here's the for the listing, the actual directory listing. So if you want to use rotating banners on a page, that's the one you would use. And those, nobody's using the banners right now. It works out better if the webmaster does those. But it was an idea early in the program. You have website preferences for all your lists. And here, like if you have a new members directory, how many records per page do you want to default? You want to show them all? You know, it depends on how fast users. A lot of people use 10, 25, or 50 because some people have slower computers, and then it wouldn't load as quickly. And then you have a choice of ordering random, random by name, pictures first, then random, pictures first, then name, pictures by file name. That's if you want to sell position number 1. So there's and you can also do it by date joined, new members list only. That only applies by date joined, is that one there. But when we do pictures first and then random, that's what we do for our small chambers and the free program and the free support. If you use our directory, we'll sell pictures to your members for a low $20 a year. And that's how we would make our money in that sense. And we would insist that, pictures first, then random. Because if somebody's paying for a picture, they should show up in the directory first. And then, of course, we have maintain rotating banners. Again, nobody's using this right now. It was used a few years ago. And it is a little complex, but it did work. And then a past newsletter list. That pretty much is everything except for the update at the top. No longer do we need the activator update support expiration. We do not track that any longer. Your program never expires. You own it. It's yours. Here you can go to our website, to the eChamber site. Then we have, to join a session, we're using MicaGo right now for remote connecting. And then update data utilities application. We haven't. That's no longer required anymore either, because that one it's a small application and rarely needs changes. That finishes up our admin support function.